Hello and welcome to everybody to our live stream today. I hope you are keeping safe if you're in the cold or the wet. Hope you're keeping dry and warm. And if you've got the heat wave, hope you are keeping cool. Wherever you are, it's nice to have you here. And today we look forward to going down under to Australia, Sydney. And we're going to talk to a gentleman who's had an interesting life. He's been out of the J-Dubs for 40 odd years. So let's bring on our guest. His name is Mark. Good evening, Mark. And how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm excellent. So how's Sydney been today for you?
I don't know, because I'm in Brisbane.
Oh, you're in Brisbane. Why did I think you're in Sydney?
Yeah,
My apologies.
That's okay. I'm in Brisbane.
Well, I've been there too, but anyway.
Okay, but Brisbane is fine at the moment.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we sorted the landscape, your geography out. Never mind. So, Mark, you've had an experience with regards to the J-Dubs in your life. Would you like to tell us, how did you happen to get into the J-Dubs?
Okay, well, just before I start, I just would like to say, love from the heart, not from the scriptures. That's a line that I'm becoming very well known for. And when I tell my story, you'll see why I'm so passionate about that one line. How did I get into the JWs? Okay. When I was born, I lived with my natural mother for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
At 6 months, I was crying, so she packed me up and sent me back to my father. From that time until I was 2 years old, I was placed in an orphanage until such time as my father married my stepmother. It was from that point on, from 2 years old, that I was raised a JW and stayed in the JW religion until early 20s.
All right.
So basically, I grew up as a child, as a teenager, in the religion.
How did that feel?
How did it feel? Well, I guess you don't have any choice as a child to a JW,
right.
to JW parents. You are just made to go along with this religion. Where the problems rose was school. Where you were the odd one out and you were bullied and, for being different and for the things that we had to go through. And we all know about, well, in our day, we used to go knocking from door to door on the weekends and everything.
Yep.
And so, of course, you'd go to your school friend's house. Oh, you're at my house on the weekend, la da 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 da. So you're always picked on, bullied, and whatever.
Yep. So, did you during that time ever get baptized?
Oh yes.
Oh, you did.
Yes.
How old were you when you got baptized?
How old was I? I was 13 or 14 when I got baptized.
Yep.
Basically, I was forced into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the honest truth is I only did it to please my father.
Yeah.
My father was very violent, very full of anger management issues. And the only way to make him happy was to get baptized.
Yeah, I can understand that. Not very much of a choice, like you said.
No.
So you got baptized. You went on with your teenage years. Before we come back to some of the details, when did you walk away, fade, or get disfellowship?
I got disfellowshipped. And I got disfellowshipped in my early 20s. I don't actually remember the exact date year, but it was in my early 20s that I was actually disfellowshipped.
Okay. So while you were in there, you'd be sitting in the Kingdom Hall, listening to the parts. Did any of it make you feel a little bit unusual? Did anything make you feel strange?
Not as such. I'm not sure which way you're asking, but I'll answer it this way. Not
Okay.
as such. I think for me personally, what I blatantly saw was the hypocrisy of my father and what was being taught at the Kingdom Hall. I'll explain that a little bit more. My father had a personality for the Kingdom Hall, and he had a personality for the family home.
Yeah.
What you saw of him at the Kingdom Hall was strict, firm, but all happy, lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
What you saw of him in the family home was a very, very different person. He was full of rage, full of anger. If you didn't answer a question the way he wanted, he would just beat me. His rage got out of control, so much so that I would end up with strap marks, bruises from where he beat me. His anger took him to a point where he once threw an axe at me.
Oh.
Yes, and I was probably early teenage years when he did that. And I was a little bit older when one day he just lost it big time in the lounge room and physically manhandled me and literally threw me through a wall. 1 minute I was standing in the lounge room, the next minute I was laying on the floor in the kitchen. Such was the force that he just put a great big hole through the wall. And where you saw the hypocrisy was someone came to visit and they said, "Oh, what happened there?" And he just glossed us off as, "Oh, we had a bit of an accident." And I just felt like saying, "No, we didn't." You know, it was deliberate. It was violence. It was aggression. And then he would go to the meeting on Sunday night and get up on the platform, "Fathers, love your children," or whatever that scripture was. And that is where I just saw the blatant hypocrisy from him. And we would go traveling around to different kingdom halls where he would give public talks on Sundays. And I would just sit there and go, "Really?"
Yep. So your dad was an elder?
Yes, he was.
How long was he an elder for? How long for?
I don't know the actual answer to that because, well, let me answer it this way. He was certainly an elder all through my childhood and through my teenagers' years because I ran away from home.
Don't blame me on that one.
No, what he did after that, I really don't have any idea. Once I got kicked out of the religion, my parents shunned me for 40 years. And so I had very little contact with my parents from the time I left home. So what they did and what I did were two very, very different and separate things. I should have had that when I ran away from home. I did stay in Brisbane for a while. But family friends knew my predicament and they were living in Broken Hill at that stage. Broken Hill, for those that aren't Australian, is right in the middle of New South Wales. Anyway, they got in touch with me and actually invited me to go and live with them and assured me that things would be a lot better.
Yeah.
And so I accepted that offer purely on the basis that it got me away from my parents. It got me away from any badgering. And so I moved to Broken Hill. That's where eventually I got kicked out.
Can I ask why you got kicked out?
I was about to say, will you ask me why? Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh, this is a long story, but I grew up gay in the religion. That's the answer.
Okay.
So what happened is, it's an interesting story, but I flew from Brisbane to Sydney and
Yep.
got on the Indian Pacific to travel to Broken Hill to start this new life as a JW. There was one problem, and I'm sorry if this touches a nerve with anyone, but it's my life. I met someone on the train and had my first sexual experience. So that was a door that opened for me, which threw a cat amongst all the pigeons, because I arrived in Broken Hill to be this JW.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I knew once and for all that I was gay. So that's how I grew up in my childhood, knowing this thing that was going on inside of me. I never really understood it, because in our day, homosexuality was never really discussed.
No,
It was a totally different generation to how gay people are talked about now. My parents never discussed it in family studies. I never heard much about it from the platform. Where I learnt about it was from school.
Okay.
Words that were floated around at school were poofter.
Yep.
I can't remember the other words, but one day I got bold enough and asked, "What is a poofter?" And that's when the penny dropped. Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
So
Can I just take you back? Can I just take you back for a minute?
Yes.
You said you grew up in the organisation as a gay man.
Yes.
How did you handle that?
I didn't handle it. The only way to handle it was to totally repress it.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak to my parents about it. I couldn't tell anyone about it. I really didn't know what to do. I will tell you a story that the night before I got baptized, I stayed up all night, and a lot of ex-JW gay people will tell you this. It's a very similar story. I stayed up all night and prayed. I prayed to Jehovah to make this thing go away. And again, I apologize for anyone if I offend them, but this is the way it turned out.
Yeah.
Within seconds of getting baptized the next day, I went back to the change rooms and saw my first naked man. Within minutes of getting baptized, that's what happened. And I just knew right then and there that I had made the biggest mistake of my life, but I had absolutely no way out.
Yeah.
I had to play this game because I lived in so much fear of my father.
Yeah.
In so many ways, it was a very deep seated fear. I can't even put it in words. I feared Armageddon. I feared my father. I feared that one day he was going to kill me, just through his sheer aggression. I mean, he had already thrown an axe at me. He had already thrown me through a wall. What was next? So I had no option. So to answer your question, it was something I just totally repressed and just lived with it.
You've done amazingly well to get through all that. We had a question come in from Stella. How did you manage to be a normal person after that horrible childhood?
Oh, it's a question that everyone asks me. How did I survive? I really don't have an answer for that, because there was no support groups. There was no internet.
Yeah.
There was nothing like this where people get together and discuss and and whatever. There were no groups.
Yep.
It was just Mark on his own to deal with it. The one thing I will tell you is that after I got kicked out of the religion in Broken Hill, I moved to Adelaide. I had to get away from Broken Hill. I couldn't stay there. Everyone else knows everyone else's business in that city, and it would have been a worse nightmare for me. So I moved to Adelaide. One opportunity I got in Adelaide was to seek professional help.
Okay, cool.
I was given the opportunity to talk to psychologists, to psychiatrists, social workers. I actually spoke to a lot of different people. I also met, and this will hit a little bit of a raw nerve for me, but again, it's part of the story. I met a lesbian who was just the most amazing person out.
Yeah.
Who went right out of her way to help me.
Nice.
She made me find the real Mark, not the Mark XJW or the Mark brainwashed JW, but the Mark. And I have so much respect for her. She's not alive anymore. Unfortunately, she died of cancer because she smoked a lot. But just some of the things she used to talk to me about, she made me see that I did not have to live my life in guilt or in fear. I could just go and be the person who I am. So yeah, getting back to that was probably the nucleus. And it's probably one thing I would strongly suggest to people, anyone listening who has baggage from the JWs, please don't just rely on these groups.
Yep.
Seek professional help. Talk to the psychiatrists. Talk to the psychologists, because they are the ones that have the professional counselling skills to draw you out, to get you talking about what your baggage is, and will give you really good ideas of how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, I look back at the hard and difficult times I had after I left the religion, and I'm glad I took up that opportunity. It was difficult. It was really, really difficult. It was tough talking about my parents, my childhood, the JWs, but somehow I was able to get good, strong advice that helped me move on to the point where I am now. I think too, the other thing I just want to say is that from the day my father threw the axe at me, which was just this massive, monumental, defining moment in my life, I literally plotted how I was going to run away from home. I vowed to myself the day I ran away from home that I was never, ever, 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 ever going to be like my father. And I think I've done a damn good job at doing that. I'm not a violent person. I'm not an aggressive person. Yes, I'm a person that will stand up and speak for myself. And I won't let anyone walk over me like a doormat like my father did. But I'm just so proud of myself that I have kept that promise to myself, and I have found a will within myself to survive. Without all of the things that we have available to us now. Yep. So what I say to people is it can be done. It can be done with very little resources. You just need to find that inner strength within yourself to say, you know what, I'm not going to put up with this. I'm going to find my way to move on. And that's what I've done.
Yeah. Can I just say something?
Yes.
You mentioned the word think. You think you've done a good job. Let me answer this. You have. And we're so proud of you for taking the steps you have taken.
Thanks, Shane. I appreciate that. Many people have said the similar thing, and I probably should say I know I have found a way to move on. Not I think, but yes, exactly right.
Yeah. Because what you've been through is horrific. Not only blocking your authentic self, as one of your friends has made a comment, Sasha, but you've shown tonight, by just the few minutes we've spent with you, how authentic you really are.
Thank you. I do speak from the heart, and I think that really shows a mile off. Yes, I can be abrasive at times. I can tread on toes. I can hit that raw nerve sometimes, but there is also under that a lot of genuineness where I show my positiveness. I've shown that I've been to the scrap heap and come out of it.
Can I ask about that positiveness then?
Yes.
How have you kept so positive over all these years? How have you handled that so that even now, going back over some of those raw details that you've shared with us, how the hell did you cope with all that and stay so positive?
One thing I was lucky to do is I was able to do a course once, and it was simply called Turning Negatives into a Positive.
Okay.
And I would strongly suggest it was actually part of a self-awareness course I was doing, or courses I was doing. It's difficult. It's tough to turn negatives into positive. Yep. But you know what? When you put your mind to it and you start thinking, okay, I'm not going to focus on this negative. What is this negative teaching me of how I can be positive? And I have done that so many times, over and over and over and over. One thing I was taught to do, and I will share this with people. I was taught to stand in the front of a mirror and say this: I love the person who I am. I am not going to let a negative defeat me. And once you start saying that repetitively, you start actually physically looking for ways to turn negatives into positive. What can I say? There are so many ways you can do it if you put your mind to it. Yeah. And I'm not saying that life doesn't get me down. I mean, I'm going through this really horrible stage right now where I live on my own. I can't remember well, yes, I can. It was when I was in Sydney, but I was in Sydney for my birthday in May. Well, here we are in July, and I haven't had a decent face-to-face conversation with anyone since then, because I've intentionally locked myself away. Yeah. And because of COVID reasons, it's for my protection. Yeah. All my conversation is now messaging and this sort of thing, which is good, but it's not face-to-face contact. Yep. So, I have to then go, rightio, how do I turn this into a positive? And how am I turning this into a positive now? I'm sharing what's inside of me right at this moment, going, well, this is my life. This is how I've done it. This is how I've moved on. And somewhere along the line, that will inspire others. They'll think, oh, geez, I can do it. Mm-hmm. It's your call, I guess. It's your choice, but it can be done.
It can be. And we really want to say thank you for, so far what you've shared with us and the struggles. And it's nice to see that you've got that positive outlook, even though you had the bad start. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the really positive things that helped you, that angel of a woman who was able to get you to see the real you. You've been through different courses, you've seen others that you can talk to. With all that sort of thing, what are some of the fun things you've been able to do since you found your real self?
Oh, okay. Look, the most immediate things I can say is that I've travelled and I've seen gay life in other cities, not
Okay.
just not in my own country.
Yep.
And boy, have I seen a variety of things in other
So are you saying they're
in
different
other
in
countries.
different countries? Are they
Sorry.
totally different in other countries?
Oh yes. Oh
Oh, really?
yes. Yes. If you go to San Francisco, my
Yeah.
word, gay life in San Francisco is very, very different to even life in Sydney, life in Brisbane,
Oh, okay.
whatever. Yeah. Look, and just even being given the opportunity to travel.
Yeah.
Some of the serious things, make decisions on my own without having to look up a scripture to tell me
Yep.
this is the way I need to be living my life. And it's just some of those really, really simple things in life. I don't need scriptures to guide me. Some of the fun things, to live a life without fear. Gosh, without fear and stress, oh, believe me, that's just fun on its own. That is
Yep.
just fun on its own.
Yep.
Not to have to account to parents, elders, for every
Yep.
move that you make or you don't make.
Yeah.
You know, they might be not jump out of the ground fun things. Sorry, my brain is going 1,000 miles at the moment. It's the simple thing that I had the privilege to vote for Bob Hawke.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean, I know it's going back a long time ago now.
Did he
But
get into Parliament that time?
yes, he did.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, it's just that I can go and vote. I can go and
Yeah.
have my say of how my
Yeah.
country or who governs my country. Birthdays, enjoying life and celebrating the day you were born. And
Yeah.
the other thing I guess I will throw in there too is that you can't really see, but I guess I could move the camera around, but I now live in my own apartment.
Nice.
I worked for Department of Defence, and I even worked for the TAB, and I worked my arse off to where I am now, where I own my own apartment, and I'm extremely, extremely happy here. This is my retirement home, and every day I wake up and I love my own apartment.
Yeah. You can hear it in your voice. You sound happy.
Yep. Can I just
So,
throw one? Yeah, sorry. Can I
by
just
all
throw one?
means, go for it.
And it's deviating away, but it's important to me to say this.
Please do.
In 2015, I got run over by a car. I got run over by a car on a pedestrian crossing
Yeah.
on the way to work. It's a long story, but I was actually was I critically injured? I was seriously injured.
Mm-hmm.
Critically, I wasn't about to die, but I was very seriously injured to the point where I was in hospital for 6 weeks.
Yep.
And then there was about months and months and months of rehab that I had to go through. Not once did my father, who was the only one alive at that stage, not once did he ever get in touch with me and say, Mark, I hope you're okay. I hope you get better. He could not find it in his heart to do that. And to me, that was just the most hypocritical thing of the JW religion, that one of the very basic things that they teach in that religion is love. And he couldn't even bring himself to a person that was his son and to say, I'm sorry that's happened to you. I hope you make a full recovery. That's all he needed to say. Why I'm bringing that up is because I'm happy that I have survived that horrible moment. I'm happy that I have survived his shunning, which is not an easy thing to deal with, and there is no easy answer to shunning. But again, I have come through that. And you asked me, what happy things have I done? Well, I am just so happy that I have survived those horrible, 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 horrible things that the JW religion puts onto people.
Yeah.
And I simply say that some of the things I have been through in my life, it puts the JWs to shame, that they can teach one thing. I mean, I used to go witnessing with my father, side by side, and listen to him talk about, what these people should be doing in their lives. I'm proud of myself. I've survived that. I'm very, very happy that I've survived all of that. Unfortunately, I've incurred permanent brain damage because of it.
Yeah.
But hey, they're the cards that life has dealt me.
Yep.
I have to play that hand and make the best of whatever is dealt to me. So this is my life now, my home, my apartment, all these things that I have done in my life. Unfortunately, COVID has really, really thrown a big spanner in the works.
Yeah.
Even to go to Sydney to a simple barbecue, to go to Western Australia to go and meet up with a group over there, to fly to New Zealand to meet up with a group. I hope one day that I can do all of those things. But for now, these are the cards I'm dealt.
Yep.
Find the positives in what I can do now, and life will go on.
Yep, definitely. We had a bit of a question while we're talking about happy things come in. What do you enjoy most doing these days? You briefly touched on a number of things.
Travel was my passion. I've had the opportunity, because I got a compensation payout from the accident.
Yep.
And I was retired medically from work for a whole stack of reasons. I was able to travel, and travel was always my passion. And sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You don't have to apologize at all, mate. So traveling, you can really see that it's something good. When you think about all the places,
it's opened my eyes. It's opened my eyes to the world.
Yep.
I have learnt so much by doing that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, COVID has just chopped that passion right in half for me.
Yeah.
But then everyone is in the same boat.
Yeah.
About what COVID has done. So we have to deal with that. But yeah, I enjoyed traveling so much. And I mean, I've been to places, I've got videos and everything here, photos now of places that people never dreamed to go to. So yeah, just to let you know, I did a 5-month round the world holiday.
Did you?
Yes. And what do I enjoy doing? That was just probably one of the really, really good times of my life. I've actually put it on Facebook and when I've shared my photos.
Yep.
I'm happiest when I'm traveling.
Yep.
And I've done
Sorry,
it.
Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Out of all your travels,
Yes.
what would be one of the most favourite places you've visited and would like to visit again?
Okay. This is a question I get asked a lot of times.
Yeah.
Prague is my
Prague.
my favourite city
Yep.
for a whole lot of a lot of different reasons. I was actually supposed to go there in July 2019 because I was going to attend the
Protest.
the protest, the JW protest, and that's
Yeah.
something I haven't talked about. One thing that made me very, very happy is to attend the Melbourne JW protest, and I stood there very, very proudly with my sign, JW Love Failed Me. That meant a hell of a lot to me, and anyone that's watching that stood side by side will know how proud we were to do that and how proud I was. That sign was actually specifically made for me to hold. So yeah, that was a really good thing. But I was supposed to go to Prague for the JW protest. Niagara Falls. I've had the opportunity to go to Niagara Falls 3 times.
One for me.
To just stand there for hours on end and walk the falls and admire its beauty. I've also had the opportunity to go to, it was my last holiday actually, Iguazu Falls in South America.
Nope, don't know where those are.
Yeah, it borders Brazil and Argentina. So I've done both sides of the Iguazu Falls.
Nice.
I've been to China. I've been to Taiwan. I've been to the UK numerous times. If we had hours and hours and hours, I could sit here and talk about my natural mother and the family that I have met out of my natural mother. I have family in the UK. I have family in Bangkok, and I have a brother in America. I have family all around the world now.
Yeah.
I've just been to so many places. I've been to Croatia. I've been to Greece. The list is endless.
And you will value all those experiences.
Very
you can see it. You can see it coming out of you, almost out of your ears, the excitement.
Yeah. I even had opportunity to speak in English in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I've just had a mental.
No, that's all right. Just take your time.
What's the place? Rio de Janeiro is very famous for the beach. Copacabana.
Yep.
Sorry, this is my brain disability. Sometimes it takes me a while to think of it. The JWs were there with a cart. And I walked up to them and I said, "Speak English?" She goes, "Yes, I speak very good English." And I just chatted them and I said, "Do you still believe in paradise?" She goes, "Oh, yes, yes, yes." "Sorry, do you still believe in paradise?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Turn around and you will see paradise literally right on your doorstep." And her only answer was, "No, it's not paradise because all these wicked people are here."
Yep.
So I challenged her and I said, "So you're calling me wicked?" And of course, she started on the preaching act. And I said, "Well, it was nice to talk to you. I'm not really interested in your religion. But I will tell you that I'm enjoying paradise right under my nose."
Yep.
So, yeah. So I've had the privilege to do that. I've been to a lot of places.
Yeah, it sounds like you want to do more traveling. We've had one invite. Stella would like you to go and visit her in Macau.
Well, now I've been to Hong Kong, but I never got to Macau, so it's a deal.
There you go, Stella. Mark will turn up if he ever gets there, and you're still in Macau. As far as I know, it's a short boat trip, is it? from Hong Kong to Macau. I think it is.
Yes.
So, well, there's one offer for you. If you come to New Zealand, we'll make sure you're looked after here.
Well, one thing I'm trying to do, because I live on my own, is I'm actually trying to network.
Sure.
Anyone that's up for a chat, every now and again. It doesn't have to be every day or every night or anything like that.
Yep.
But I'm just trying to network. It's difficult in Australia because we can't go anywhere now. All these cities are in lockdown and whatever.
Yeah.
But I just so desperately, I want to go to Perth. I want to go to, I want to go to Sydney to their barbecues, and they just keep on getting knocked flat because of COVID. And I'm just doing my best now to see what networking I can do. I'm also pushing hard to meet other gay people in Australia.
Yep.
Yes, it's nice to meet people around the world, but we have different time zones and whatever. It's just nice to meet different gay people in Australia. And just have that, I call it the gay connection. And I'm sure everyone understands what I'm trying to say, but because I'm here by myself, with COVID, I'm deprived of being able to do a lot of things. So I'm just looking at my options now, what I can do. And I just saw someone flash up something. I'm in Perth. Well, if you're gay, please get in touch with me. Because that's important. That's important. I've talked to a lot of people that are having a lot of issues coming out of the religion. And I know it's not an easy path. We have to deal with the shunning, but we also have to deal with that whole, do I tell my parents? Don't I tell my parents? Do I tell the elders? Don't I tell the elders? It's a nightmare.
While we're on that subject.
Yes.
Having been out of the religion for so long, what is your advice to people who are now just newly leaving? Say if they're gay. You mentioned that it's hard.
Yes.
Even if they're not gay, what would your advice be?
Oh, this is a mighty good question. Seek professional help. I will come back to that. Don't just rely on these groups for support. Don't think that you'll find all your answers in these groups. You can even see me in these groups. I don't have all the answers. You've got to look elsewhere. If you're coming out of the religion with baggage, you need to seek professional help.
Definitely.
And what I will do is I will just quickly give a plug to Recovering from Religion. It is a great group. It's JW heavy, but it's not all JW. It's a great group to find a safe place.
Yeah.
To talk about. Even I've been able to have the opportunity, if I want to, talk about something that's really, really personal to me that I can't put on this video, but I can find this safe place to talk about it. So Google Recovering from Religion. There's an American group. Sorry, I should define that. There is an American group, but there's Recovering from Religion right round the world. There's also a Recovering from Religion group in Sydney that will support you. That's all I can say right now, because I'm just part of it. I'm not the what's the word I'm looking for? The
lead person.
Yes. I'm not the spokesman for the group. I'm sure they will appreciate me giving a plug. But yes, Google Recovering from Religion. It will help you big time. What other advice can I give someone? What was it? Newly leaving.
Yeah, so those ones who are waking up,
okay,
might be looking at the latest magazine, which talks about koalas being able to get across the ocean and other things, and they're just going, "What am I in?"
See the religion for what it is.
So ask questions, do research.
Yes. Start thinking for yourself, making decisions
What?
for yourself.
Think
Yep,
for yourself.
definitely. Defy what the elders teach. I just simply say this. Jehovah's Witnesses are not the true religion. They are simply another religion. Oh, look, my head is just racing 1,000 things now.
No,
One thing,
that's
one,
fine,
one,
Mark.
one thing I will say to people is, if you're newly leaving the religion, the elders have absolutely no legal right to force you to attend meetings, attend their shepherding sessions, whatever they call them these days, to account to them for what you're doing or not doing. Oh gosh, I want to touch quickly on child abuse. If you've been sexually abused in the religion, please seek help. Do not go to the elders for help, because they are no help. Scriptures will not help you.
Correct.
Legal means professional help will help you. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit confused now, because 1,000 thoughts are racing through my head, and I really want to say some nice things for people. It is a tough road. Don't think it's going to be an easy road. Shunning is not something easy to deal with. I've experienced 40 years of it, and it's tough. There's no denying it. But for your own happiness, for your own peace of mind, go live your own life. Go and do what you want to do. In the long run, you will be a lot happier and have a lot more peace of mind, free of that cult, free of their guilt, free of their brainwashing. I was nearly going to swear there. Free of their brainwashing. You can see where I'm at. I'm generally and basically happy, because I've been away for such a long time. You don't need to put yourself through all of their grief trying to please them. Probably something else I would say to people is trying to please family members and trying to leave the religion. That is a really, really tough one. At some point in your life, you need to say to yourself, you know what? What the JWs are doing to me is toxic. Do I want toxic in my life? If your answer is no, I don't want toxic in my life, then you need to take the tough decisions to remove that toxic from your life. And if that means walking away from family members for your own sanity, then so be it. It's not an easy path. I'm not going to sit here and say it's an easy path. It's not right that anyone has to live without their family. And that leaves long-term scars.
Yeah.
It leaves long-term baggage. But it was toxic. You've all heard me talk about my father. He was toxic. Do I want that in my life? No, I don't. And so I made that tough call to walk away. I hope there's something in that people can take out of it.
It's been very helpful, Mark.
Talk about it. That's probably one of the biggest things. Don't bottle up. Talk about it with others, and that will help also.
So looking at what you just said there, talk to others, who would you encourage people to talk to?
Not JWs. certainly not the elders, because the elders won't fix it.
No.
All the elders will do is pull out the Bible and quote you a scripture to fix the problem. Praying will not fix the problem.
No, it won't.
Seek out the support groups. Seek out groups like the Recovering from Religion, where you have a safe place to express, to even show emotion, to cry in that group if you want to cry, because that's how safe it is. And that's where you can express your emotion. Professional help. I keep on coming back to that. It's the way to deal with JW baggage.
Yeah. So very true. So from what you've said, you found it really, really, really extremely hard. Are you happy that you took those steps?
My word, I am. My word, I am. I would not sacrifice what I have now for all the grief I have been through.
Yeah.
To be able to wake up each day and live the way I want to live, to make my own decisions, to laugh when I want to laugh, to cry when I want to cry, to celebrate a birthday, to give a hug to someone without it being, oh, Mark, you shouldn't be doing that because that will lead to immorality. That will lead to immorality. Oh gosh, I could say so much. I would not trade places. I would never ever go back to the religion. I would never ever consider going back to the religion. The happiness that you can find over time, far outweighs what that religion will ever offer you.
So true, my friend. So true.
Yeah.
And we're so glad that you're here with us.
Well, I'm glad I survived. I'm glad I survived, because I could have gone many different directions, believe me.
Yeah.
You know, in some ways, I will say in some ways, the line that they teach that if you leave the religion, you'll be unhappy. You'll turn to drugs. You'll turn to alcohol. You'll get HIV. You know what? Sorry, HIV. Some of that is actually quite true.
It is.
Because of the different choices you make, or the choices that you're forced into making. But at the end of the day, you still have a choice to say, you know what? I can pick myself up and move on and not stay in this fixated place of unhappiness. You do have that choice. And once you decide for yourself that that's the way you're going to go, regardless of whatever comes up as an obstacle, gosh, it's so much better. Love from the heart, not from the scriptures. I hope you all see why I'm so passionate about that one line now. And I just want to be remembered for that line, because it means so much to me.
Can I get you to post that later on in our Life After group?
I sure can.
Because I believe that's a very nice way to look at things, and we're so grateful that you've shared that with us.
And as you can see, I can still get emotional, even talking about the JWs and what they've done and what I see they do to people. But I will walk away. I'll put on some music and be happy. And I know all the things that might make me unhappy. I know all the things now that do make me happy. So that's the good thing.
This end of life is totally different from how you started your life.
Oh, my word it is. My word it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yep.
been so nice to have you on, sharing your story, your heart-wrenching
Thank you.
things that happened to you. And what is most wonderful, looking at you now, you can hear the happiness. You can hear the heartfelt wanting to help others.
Yep.
And your example of what you've done, your authentic self, the things that you're able to do by, whether you know it or not, by encouraging them by your words and your actions is tremendous.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us.
It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure. I will always try and put a positive spin on, and I don't like using the word spin, a positive side onto things.
Yeah.
Because we go through some of the most horrendous experiences in life, and I know how difficult it is to fight your way out of that. So, been there, done that.
Yep.
But the key is that you can do it if you really want to.
Yep. Absolutely.
I
Well,
hope it's
thank
been
you
of
once
help.
again. It
Can I
certainly has.
can I just
Carol?
ask? Can I just ask that if people send me a friend request or anything like that on Facebook, please don't just send the friend request. Send a message saying, "Hi, I'm such and such. I'm an ex-JW and blah 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 blah." Because I don't just accept friend requests from people I don't even know.
Yeah.
So, the opportunity is there to talk to anyone. I will talk to people, but I don't just accept friend requests just because you're an ex-JW and I'm an ex-JW, because I don't know who you are.
Exactly.
So I need to know. I need to know who you are before I will
Yeah.
accept that.
So Facebook's the only way people can get hold of you? Is that the easiest way for you? Facebook? A messenger, I mean?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking what other alternatives.
Well, Facebook, you're in the group, in the
It's
Life
probably
After
the,
group.
it's probably look, yes. I'm also in the RFR group, the Sydney
Yep.
RFR group that I go and I attend their sessions. I've only recently joined, so I don't even know the name of this group.
Life After
life,
Joe's
life
Witnesses.
after, life after, because I've only just joined in the last week.
You
It's
have.
still, my brain has difficulty learning new things and remembering them. But yeah, it's a starting point of how you can contact me. And certainly, if you are a gay person, please feel free. Mark, I'm gay. I'd like to touch base with you, and I'm more than happy to start networking with some gay people. And I don't do that exclusively, but the
Yep.
opportunity is there if you are.
Great.
And I
Well,
shouldn't just target gay. I should be inclusive and say LGBTQ, just to make it appropriate.
yeah. Well, thank you once again, Mark, for being
It's
here.
been my pleasure, and thank you for having me. And thanks to all of those people out there that listen or that have listened. I hope it's been of some benefit to you. And I'm also thinking of the people that may see this video
Yeah.
in the future. I hope it's of some benefit to you as well.
Yeah.
Love from the heart, not from the scriptures.
Great phrase, great saying. So thank you for being here. Thank you for those who are on the live stream, for those who have put comments there, those ones who are watching now. And when you come across it, we are here to support you. If you need help, reach out. There's links down the bottom if you're not in the Life After JW Facebook group. You can join if you need the support. There are many other support groups out there, so please don't feel alone, because you're not. So we want to say thank you once again. And until our next live stream, folks, we look forward to seeing you again. We have some fun ones coming up, and I'm sure you will appreciate it. Thanks once again, Mark. And let's head out by watching a sort of a dedication to you, Mark. We'll speak soon. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.